Welcome, welcome, welcome. S'morezies, you're not going out right now, sweetie. Get over it. All right, do I move the machine or do I? Oh, I don't even have the stupids. There we go. Sorry, my apologies. Use that word. Okay, don't fall over, tripod. There we go. Did I not make this public? Let's check. We are public. We are good. Oh, there we are. There's people. I only saw one and it says 11. I should probably learn to read, right? I am working on cutting out the patches for our zipper pouch, but let's bring over the machine. I definitely did not have time to plan today for today. Oh, don't cut yourself on the rotary cutter. I was busy working on Advent videos, so my apologies. S'morezies, if you scratch at the door, I'm going to lock you in a closet. How do you think about that one, Missy? Huh? Huh, Missy? Come here. Come here. This is my little monster, S'morezies. Look up into the camera and say, oh, that's so pretty. I'm giving Mama trouble. Monster children, I tell you. They have free reign of the house to a certain, I shouldn't say total free reign, but they're able to go out and about in the house. And now, of course, it's only been like 3 days, so they want to do it every day, all the time. But I try to keep them, if I'm going to close the bedroom door, I try to keep them in the room so that I can close the door and not everyone has to listen to me live stream, you know? Okay. Good morning, Tony. Hi, Sue. Hi, Dawn and Laura and Jackie and Julie and that's everybody. Is that everybody? I think that's everybody. Is everybody on live chat? The little arrow up above where it says chat, make sure it says live chat and not top chat. Isn't she such a pretty girl? She's a sweetie pie, and she also thinks she's an orange cat personality every now and then, and she's a wild thing. Ooh, that's fun, Jackie. That's going to help a lot. A design wall is a huge help. Hi, Paper Sense. I don't think I have you on my cheat sheet. Where is my cheat sheet? Okay. I do not have you on my cheat sheet, so I'm going to call you Paper Sense, but I know you have a name, and you've been here forever. Hi, Sharon. Good morning from Australia. Okay, so I'm cutting 2.5-inch squares. I am making zipper pouches today. I'm going to make one, but I'm cutting fabric for 2, and I'm kind of fussy cutting the... Thank you, Sandy. Okay, excuse me. I have to reach in front of everybody. I have to, sorry, you're seeing my back. My apologies. I can't reach from the other side. I have, where's my pens? I have a cheat sheet that I keep hanging on the wall because y'all know I don't know anyone's name because I'm terrible with it. Sandy Wood. Okay. I wanted to put an S on your name for some reason. I'm not going to do that. That's not nice. And that can stay over there. See, Sue, you have to pay attention. If you refresh or when you first come in, it automatically goes to the top comments versus the, top chat versus the live chat. And you want to see all of the stuff. You don't want to miss half of a conversation because it only shows you half of what's going on. I'm doing something, I'm feeling so crowded today. I'm doing something a little bit different. I've put a listing down below in the description box for my Etsy shop. And what I'm doing is I'm listed the 2 zipper pouches before I even make them. So if anytime during today's live stream you're like, oh, I love that pouch, you can go ahead and grab it from Etsy. I'm going to be closing my Etsy shop down for the rest of the year on December 15th is what my plan is. So if there's anything you want from the shop, make sure you grab it. And between the 15th and the end of the year, if there's something you want, I will open up the shop for you or figure out a way so that you can purchase it. There's just no guarantee that it's going to get there by the end of the year. Excuse me. And also, I do my year-end inventory and my taxes and everything at this point. Right, Laura? They change it up and they change it to your email address. And they're like, oh, wait, everyone's complaining. So they go back to your regular name. And then they're like, well, let's change it to something with a bunch of numbers in it or something. So it's crazy all the time. Sunny, if I didn't say hi to you, hi, Sunny. Anyone that pops in, if I miss your name, my apologies. Because when I put my head down and pay attention to what I'm doing so I don't cut my fingers or sew the seam wonky, I always end up missing some of the chat. So if you were talking to me, put it in all caps if I didn't catch it the first time. And if I don't say hi, my apologies. I really do value the fact that you come here and hang out with me on the 10th live stream. So I've earned my YouTube hat. All I have to do now is go in later today and fill out the paperwork. And you guys helped me earn my hat. I know it's not like a big deal. It's just a red hat, right? And it's a YouTube hat, and you could probably buy one online. But I didn't have to pay for it or the shipping. So I think that counts as a bonus. I am using the scraps from my Christmas star quilt project that I did with my patrons, I think at the beginning of this year. So I have a mixture of Hobby Lobby and Joann's fabric that I purchased in Florida before leaving. So maybe it was last year. I don't remember. No, this year. Hi, Becky. Figures are very important. I need them. Yeah, it happens, Sunny, right? I just know some people, especially if they're new and maybe something might have happened in someone else's live stream and they like felt purposefully ignored. I want people to know we're not really ignoring you. Most people in the, at least not on purpose, right? Most people in the chat are working on other projects, and when they have a second, they periodically look up, check the chat. That's why sometimes the chat just sits there for a few minutes too, because we're all busy people doing stuff. I think I pulled out enough fabric for 20 squares. I'm cutting 2.5-inch squares. I want it to be about 10 by 8 when it's finished. So that's 5 across and 4 down. And I feel like I should count because I feel like I brought extra in case I change my mind and I want something different. Now both pouches will have the same fabrics, but both pouches won't have the same layout. I am not pressuring myself into doing that. Thank you, Laura. 3, 4, 5. I found some really fun fabrics. I really liked this one. Make sure you guys can see everything with the gnomes. But I only bought a 1/4 yard or a 1/2 yard for most of it because that's all the quilt needed. And I do have a decent amount left over still. And I even made the mini whirligig Christmas quilt. I can't remember if it's in the shop still or if it was purchased. I feel like it may have been purchased, but you can always double check. 5, 1, 2, and I tried to fussy cut whenever I can, so like the dinosaurs with the tree. 5, that's 10, and a snowman, and then some of it is just kind of sparkly. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2. Okay, so I need 5, 10, 15, yep, 3 more, and I'll be done. I did pull a bunch. So I did the mittens already, so that can go away. And of course, I can always just reach in and grab the fabric again. I have a gray one of this and the brown one, so I'll skip that. I have this one and this one. This one will get more snowflakes out of it, so let's keep that. This one, while fun, is just red. I really like this, so I'm going to put that in. And then I feel like this one is also sparkly, but while I like the fabric, it's not quite fitting in with that, like it's like a really dark green but black background Oh, we got sugar cookies and sparkly dogs. I like putting the little doggies in, plus I have dog bones and paw prints. So we'll make that the last 3. And if anyone sees these fabrics and you're like, hey, I'd like to have a patchwork pouch too or something, let me know. I have plenty. I think I do. We'll see. And then I thought, since I put the picture up already with Santa on the back, we'll fussy cut this guy into, for the backing of it. Yeah, I had a lot of fun just choosing fabrics. And I think that I didn't purchase anything this year, but if I end up somewhere at a store and I pick up fabric, I think I'm going to stick with that quarter yard purchase because it just works out really well. I get to play with some fabric, but I don't have to keep it for like years to come, you know? And for this, I'm just going to grab 5 inches and then trim it down. I'm not going to fussy cut, so that I can get one for each pouch. And I saved my big chunks to go into my Christmas fabric postcard stash. I had to move my desk around a little bit, and then I didn't like it, and I moved my lights back. And I think I put them in the wrong spot because the glare is even worse now than usual. I like the peppermint one, and I like the different snow. I love snowmen. So the fun different snowmen with their hats and stuff. Okay, then we'll cut it into 2.5-inch squares. I'll iron this piece because if you don't iron it, it just makes it grumpy later when you're trying to work with it. Sorry, I walked near the tripod and these floors are so unbalanced. All right, so then we have this. I can just cut 2 of these and not worry about it. I was debating whether or not to use the interfacing where you iron it to the interfacing and then you fold it over and sew it like the pre-printed squares on it, but I'm not spending that extra money for someone to draw the squares for me. I have some, like sometimes I'll pick it up at a thrift store or it'll be on like mega sale, so I'll buy some, but for just regular pricing, it can be a little expensive. So I would just do it myself, but then I decided, no. I know I have yardage of this, so I'm willing to find spots that I can just pull one dog out, even if it ends up being like right in the center of a strip. I don't mind because, again, I have this somewhere else. I'm thinking about 2.5 by 2.5 and also the 2 1/4, because anything after 2 1/4 all the way around that 1/4-inch seam allowance is going to get lost. And I'd rather cut off his pitty toes than like his ears or his face. There's not much Christmas fabric this year. Ay, ay, ay. I like the sparkly tree one, and then I like the one that just has the brown trees on it, or the green trees that go zigzag in the background. I think this one I've had as wrapping paper on that brown wrapping paper. So I really love the Christmas trees like this. I saw that they sell these on Amazon that you can put up on your wall. So if you want to decorate the wall, or if you don't want to have a full-blown Christmas tree, it's the green, the pine and stuff. It's like a garland, but it's decorated in the ziggy-zag like that. So you could still hang ornaments and whatnot from it. I noticed that and I thought that was really cool, but I behaved myself and I didn't purchase it. They've also been selling out quick because they've got the Christmas fabrics in so early. When I took my sewing machine in, they were telling me that first of all, they're Halloween fabrics at that point because it was close to Halloween or just after. They'd already sold out, but they'd already had the Christmas fabrics on the shelf back in you know, what, July, August, September, October. I don't remember when I took my machine in. So people were already purchasing it, and the smaller shops and stuff weren't getting more in. So sometimes all you see is what's left that the people didn't purchase because they got it super early. You know those crazy people that are doing their presents and stuff ahead of time, or maybe they have a shop. Now for the second one, I think I'm just going to leave this strip whole, so that way I don't cut into that strip. And chances are, if I'm going to use these fabrics, they're going to be in small amounts anyway. My apologies. It is so rude, the things I do with you guys. I hope you don't have to look inside my ear. That would be so terrible. Oh, no good, just my shoulder. So this is one of my new purple shirts. Thank you guys for enjoying the last one I wore. I bought this. I don't want to say things about stores, but I did buy this from the Comfort Colors store, and that's the brand of the shirt on Amazon. I put in a little a comment on it and stuff, but just as a reminder too, you see that white streak? It goes down both of my sleeves, and this shirt was supposed to be grape, which would be like a deep dark purple. When I saw it online, I bought a purple and a pink one because I wanted to stay within budget. It was supposed to be this color purple, and it's super faded. I think they left it in the sun when they were storing it, and I like this color. It's just not what I was going for. And I'll just wear it at home, and even if I go out in public, no one's going to notice that little bit of a bleach job. But that's your reminder. Do not leave your fabrics where the sun can get them because they can bleach over time. Anytime I have my fabrics and I keep the curtains closed, and I try to avoid it, especially with the Arizona and Florida sun and stuff. And if I know there's a chance that the fabric's not getting rotated through quickly and that the sun could damage it, I go ahead and I put a sheet down to cover it. So it's like a cabinet with fabric, so. Joann's, it has made it a little bit harder. And I know the small businesses are like, but we're still here. But it's not the same. The small businesses, like Joann's got different fabric at a different cost than like a quilt shop would get, because even though it's the same company, brand, designer, they give it at a discount at Joann's, and it's a little less quality. But the reality is I cut this a little bit weird, so let me figure it out. The reality is if you were making pot holders or gift bags, like drawstring bags for Santa sacks and stuff, you really don't need the $23 a yard quilt shop quality. You just need just the basic, right? Just Joann's or Walmart's, just something that you can make 30 of them at a reasonable price and not feel bad. Because I don't want the Santa sack to be the gift. You know, I'm hoping to give it back and I could fill it up again next year. Okay, there we go. Did I cut everybody? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So I think the world needs a place like Joann's. I think Joann's, when they started doing some things, they learned that they made a mistake and they're paying the consequences. But I'm hoping Michael's does do slowly integrating, and they're doing it the smart way, in my opinion, and not doing everything all at once. That they're slowly bringing it out, testing the markets and the areas to see which area actually needs fabric and which one needs yarn and stuff like that. And I think that's pretty smart. But we need some type of a shop like that just for people that can't go to a quilt shop, can't afford it. Stretch, stretch. Whatever the reason, right? Has anyone seen Giovanna? Did we miss her today? Hi, Tracy. Hi, BC Tracy. My apologies. Hi, Gwen. I haven't been since Joann's closed and I went to Michael's and purchased some fabric. So it was summertime or springtime with all of the flowers and stuff. I haven't gone because I know it's dangerous. I'd like to go during Christmas time just to see all the decorations, even though I know Most of the decorations are really just kind of cheap, fall apart stuff that's not worth the price until you get it 75% off. And I know that the yarn section will be dangerous, but I'm really kind of curious to see what they have for fabric and stuff. Oh no, Laura. When I went, they didn't have the cutting station. They had doubled their fabric, but you had to go to the framing place and they would take it in the back and cut it for you. Just little things, right, Sonny? Just a little things. Maybe a little kit for the kids to do some crafty stuff. Just little things. I have chosen, because I didn't have much choice. I had two 12-inch zippers left. I will be making a purchase next year and getting my supply of zippers. I do have some 14, I have a lot of 14 inches, but a lot of them are pastels and I didn't really have any red, and the greens are more like the color of my laptop here, really kind of bright. So I figure green will work. I kind of wanted red for Santa, but the green will work. And I just realized I don't have any lining, but that's okay. We're not at that point. I don't know how far we'll get. Stop me when we hit 2 hours. We shouldn't go past 2 hours. That's too much. Oh, I forgot. I have to lay out the fabrics, right? These are messy. I did not make good decisions today. I did not get myself set up comfortably. So let's do this. And put this here. I think some Michaels, if they're smaller and they were designated to have all of the good stuff, they're kind of going to be in trouble because they're not going to have the room for it. Like Sue's store was a mess. That's crazy. So we need 5 across and 4 down. The green zipper on the top. So I think I'll put some of the greens up there. There's only 2 greens, so okay, we won't do that too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then let's put the puppy there. Put that on. Remember, we're going to lose a little bit more on the sides because I do a 3/8 seam allowance. So that has to be taken into consideration. Try to balance out the blacks and the greens and the light colors. So put you over there. We'll have Puppy Central going. I don't know. We have 4, so let's go down here. See, this one is different in the next one. That's the only fabric that's going to be different because in this pile, I ended up taking the candy cane from the same fabric. So I have the peppermint and the candy cane, but it's still the pink sparkly fabric. Did I just mix those? No, I'm good. Did I? No, I'm good. Gee, my goodness, Robin. And then I will look in the camera and kind of see what that looks like and decide. All right, let's play catch up with. Did you guys say anything really fun and interesting that I missed? Nope, I can't do that. The mouse goes to sleep and then it just doesn't want to work. Tracy's totally fine for you. Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I know some people are a little particular and the packages in the customs at LAX is getting closer. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Tracy. Colors online are always different, yeah, but when the purple and the pink were both really dark, and the reason I think that this is faded 100%, or they just sent me the wrong color, is when you look around the collar at the stitching, and I look at the other shirts that I already own, because I love comfort color shirts. They're a little bit a 1980s t-shirt, I want to say. Like they're not thick and they're not thin. They're just like a good t-shirt weight. They have a nice stretch, but they don't stretch out as easily. They're warm and comfortable. The wrist cuffs and the collar stay proportionate as long as I don't do crazy stretching stuff with them. I try not to put my sleeves up too far, like do dishes before I get dressed and stuff. And then I can't even imagine doing dishes with sleeves all the way down. That's crazy. And then it has a nice length to it. It's not super long. I wouldn't mind them being a little longer in length, but it's pretty good. I like it. The buyers did cause a lot of problems, right, Julie? Hi, Julie. I did Wawa for the zippers for something. Oh, the bags that I was doing, the duffel bags. I went and got zippers for them because I went and got the special, the wide bag zippers. The two zippers that can go and meet in the middle. I'm like, what did I buy? Yeah, Joann's was doing really good. They did struggle with almost going into bankruptcy once, and they were able to restructure and do good. But when they restructured, they sold a portion of it or something. I don't know the whole story. And of course, we'll never know anyway. But when they restructured back in the day, it got really sketchy and things changed, and it wasn't the same. And they were just doing things behind the scenes, I'm sure, because a lot of people were still shopping and everything. Hi, Mary. My apologies if I miss you, and also if I say hi to you 7 times, because whatever. If they're getting rid, I think Michael should lean towards the craft stuff and let Hobby Lobby do the home goods type stuff, and let Home Goods and all of those other places do that. I think if Michael's digs down heavy and sticks more crafting like they used to be before, then I think they're pretty good. When they started trying to go a little bit more like Hobby Lobby and have too many decorative stuff that was really cheap anyways, quality-wise, then I think, yeah. There's no decline in sewing, Sonny, right? For anything, look at all those young kids that are going to thrift stores and tearing apart clothes and sewing them back together and making like a lot of money on it. Money that I would feel embarrassed to charge, but people are buying it, so good for them. They still have to go somewhere and buy threads and sewing machines and zippers and all of that. Sue, Hobby Lobby didn't have exactly what I needed in the right length and stuff, and Wawa was just a lot cheaper. And then I did a cost comparison, and Zip It on Etsy was still the best buy for me in bulk. Laura, that's nice. I'm really, really picky, and I only use the YKK, and I'm just spoiled on them. I just like the way they work over time. They last. They don't fray on the fabric part here or anything like that. I'm going to get to sewing, I promise. I just needed to double check everyone's comments. Well, we can't know the whole story, Julie. We have, we know the basics of it, but you don't know what happened behind closed doors is what I mean. We don't know those parts of it. We do know the basic idea, but we won't know. You don't know what happens. Like, you guys know a lot about me, and I'm pretty open book, but there's still things right now that are happening that I don't share, right? We never really know, even with corporation stuff, they show things, but you still don't know what's happening, fully. I'm sitting on the microphone. Okay, so I'm a column sewer. Take my foot off the gas pedal. And I lay mine over and I leave a space because we've learned on a live stream that when I go from here to the sewing machine, I always take it and spin it this way. So I leave that little space so that I know that this one's on the top and this one's on the bottom, and I have to sew on that side. And that has been a miracle to keep me under control. Yeah, the YKK just worked the best. Oh, I miss, they had what, RsIslandCrafts, and the brain's not working this morning. I miss, oh no, I can never think of the name. There was Michael's and Joann's, and then there was that third store. They had like, I used to go there all the time for yarn and stuff, and we had one back in Cape Coral, Florida, and I loved it. I went there before anything, because back then in the early 2000s and stuff, Michael's, you'd go at Christmas time and you couldn't buy red yarn. How could you not have red yarn stocked at Christmas time, right? All right. A lot of there's a person on Instagram that does comedy stuff, and she has these different characters, and they're all the old craft stores, and they're like, haha, Joanne's welcome. We knew you'd be here. No, not Leewards. We didn't have one of those. Oh, Julie, I haven't even heard of half of those. Hancock was the best. Hancock was really great. It was before I really started crafting, but I just remember people going there and seeing things in the different craft groups I was in, and they had some really good deals. Hobby Lobby, I was always like, everyone got stuff from Hobby Lobby. I was excited when they finally came into the area back in Florida, but then I'm a little disappointed. Their fabric has not really changed much. They'll bring out the same Christmas fabric or holiday fabric from last year. The section has gotten smaller and smaller, and the home goods has gotten larger and larger. And I'm not even talking like their company's policies and religion and politics and stuff. I'm really just, what can I get, and can I get it at a good price? And I know people who are really into boycotting places, they don't like people like me, but that's just where I'm at. And sometimes what things cost and how easy it is to get does kind of come against whether someone's a Christian store or not, type of thing. Now, obviously, I'm not going to support someone doing horrible. Oh, I have not bought yarn at Walmart except a skein or two here or there. So many places are pushing for online shopping. I was reading something, a lady said that she could go into the store and pay $75 to get ink for her printer, or she can spend like $64, I think it was, and she can buy a whole new printer. Now, I know the cartridges have less ink in them, but at the same time, you're saving money getting a whole new printer versus just buying ink, and that is just so wrong. And the customer, one of the persons on there was telling the customer that what Walmart's doing is they're pushing people to shop online now so that they stock less in store. But the problem I have with that is you have to really watch, because Walmart is kind of like Amazon and stuff, and other people they can sell stuff in there, right? Michael's has different small businesses in there. So you don't know if you're getting it from Walmart or someone else. You have to really watch in the description and stuff to see if it's a Walmart item or if it's from just some random person. Oh, Woolworths, I remember when they closed. That was a good store for everything. Woolworths, wasn't it like Woolworths and Woolco at one point, and then they separated? We didn't have an Eric's. Yeah, everything has just changed so much. I hear a lot of people wanting to boycott Amazon, but I gotta say, there's a lot of things I can't get unless I get it from Amazon. I wonder if I can do, if you don't mind, let me see if I can. Craft store. Joanne, AC Moore. That's where I used to go. I loved AC Moore. AC Moore was my favorite craft store. First it was Michael's and Joann's, but then AC Moore, they had fun things. I'm gonna do this one first because if I sew these two together, then it's a longer strip with one single piece, and I want it's easier to do the shorter strip. Yeah, I loved AC Moore. They had some of the best, like people like me, like I started dyeing yarn or making fabric designs or something, and then they went out and they started, selling it and being part of big companies. So they had different people and they had some of the nicest yarn. And you can get beads and all kinds of things. I loved it. I liked wandering around there. And they sold, well, they went bankrupt, and then they sold the space to Michael's. And Michael's went from a small spot to a big spot, but they didn't bring in any extra stuff. They just made the aisles further apart. I'm like, that's just crazy. TG&Y, yeah. TG&Y reminded me, I heard Toys R Us was coming back, whether just online or in person. I don't know if that's true. I loved going to Toys R Us too. I know shopping online hurts local stores, but at the same time, I'm buying in bulk. Like when I order zippers, I won't order 4 or 5 zippers. I'll order 200. I'll order 400. So that it's just one big order. And then when I'm working, anytime I need a zipper, I know I'll have what I need, right? So then I open these up. I don't do the actual grid like spider webbing where you keep it all together. I find that things spin and I don't care for it as much. It takes more time and confuses me. So I do this and it works very similarly. Now I'll go like this and put these this way because it's shorter. And then like this. This one doesn't matter too much if things got mixed up. I'm not doing a specific color scheme. There's only one of each design. So it's not like 2 red snowflakes are going to touch or anything like that. So I don't worry about it. TG&Y, yeah, that sounds very familiar. So is everyone done with their Christmas sewing? Huh? Was that a bad thing to say today? I like looking at stuff, really, like, the whole purple sweatshirt thing and stuff, but there's just some things I can't buy either. I do like to, if I want a specific red yarn, I'm gonna go. If I just want to get some yarn, then it's so much cheaper to go to Hobie or Yarn Inspirations, or even, just ordering online from any of the other stores. They have special online prices and discounts. Michael's, all of them. So sometimes you can get it cheaper online, and if you want, you can have it delivered to the store. I was told in that conversation about the printer that Walmart no longer allows to order online and pick up in the store. You have to have it delivered to your house. I don't know how true that is because, I have things delivered to my house. Oh, there's Giovanna. We were looking for you. Not done with Christmas sewing yet? What? Wait. Who was our hero? Grandma's? Christmas, yay, Christmas. I love sewing for Christmas. I don't have a need for it, and the whole point of me actually even opening up a shop at first wasn't even the income at the time. It was mostly, because I was working back then, it was mostly because I just had so much stuff I needed it to go somewhere. Okay, so I will move these down. Normally I have everything to the side and I iron over there. So the top one and row 1 and row 3 are going to get pressed to the left. I don't set my seams on this, and I don't press this way, because if I press this way, it drags this center and it stretches it out. So I make sure I go flat like this. Feeling a little crowd. I feel like all of you are right behind me looking over my shoulder because I managed to make myself a little crowded in here. Oh no, I need water. I'm out of water. So excuse me if the camera bounces because I'm walking on the floor. 35 minutes. Right, Jackie? And it probably would have taken you or I all day, if not 2 days. It's not that we can't do things, it's just we can't do them as fast anymore. 12 by 12 flannel cork squares, 48 by 48. Wow, it's perfect. Giovanna, do you just like copy and paste that? You're always in the car waiting for your daughter. Your daughter has a very busy life. I do not, and I'm okay with that. All right, so let's do row 3 to the left. Instead of doing every other row, I do it like this because sometimes then I have to stop and look, because if I was watching a video or I had a thought, y'all been here long enough, you know the brain kind of just wanders off periodically. And then the odd numbers or the even numbers, I'm going to press to this side. So I'll do like this. And then flip it. And then do that one. And then this one, again, I want to press to this side. So I'll flip it over. I want to plan for a day in January where we sew a zipper pouch, and I want to just do a fabric on the front and a fabric on the back, because some people have been having some issues, and I thought if we did, remember we did it before last Christmas, someone joined us in a live stream to make a patchwork zipper pouch, and they were asking questions and we were stopping and going slow and showing each step and helping with tips and tricks. I want to do that again, because that was so helpful for that person. And I think being able to do it live and ask a question and show the step again or something would be really helpful for people. Even though you can rewind the video, I think it helps. Same here, Jackie. Mini quilts is about it for me. I love table runners. I just don't have a table for them. Giovanna, do you do anything you could do in the car, like knit or crochet or some cross stitch? I've gotten a little particular with my points matching up now. I didn't used to really care, and I find that if I take the time and put the little clippies on, then it works out better, even though I want to grumble about it under my breath, so you can still hear me. You know how it is, right? Sandy Wood. Now wait a minute, Sandy Wood. You were just Paper Sense. Did you just change yourself, or do we have two Sandy Woods? See? You're causing trouble. I swear you guys just like to mess with me. Oh, awesome. I think I'm just going to take the rest of these fabrics and cut them all into 2.5-inch squares, and then just create. I did it for Halloween and I think Christmas last year, and it was pretty popular, so I might just do that again at some point, right? Maybe turn them into something with just 2.5-inch squares into tote bags, or maybe make flying geese, maybe make half square triangles, cut them a little larger. I don't know, but I need to do something because I want to make sure I'm using up my small bits. I don't mind having yardage in the stash, but I want to make sure the small scraps and bits keep floating and rotating through, right? Like when I pull out that plastic bin of Christmas stuff, that I pulled it out to do this project, and I'm like, I'm tired of looking at these scraps. We've worked with them a lot this year. Let's go ahead and work with these for a bit. Oh, you changed your name back. Woohoo! I'm like, all right, Sandy's really messing with me today. Isn't Google wonderful? I need to figure out, I haven't done it. I just keeps telling myself I need to figure it out, but I haven't had time yet on how to fix the keyboard on my phone since that new update. And it doesn't even give me a chance to autocorrect. I put the right word in. I'll put in like maybe the word dog, and then it'll change it to elephant or soup or something crazy. And I'm like, come on, phone. I can mess up on my own enough, thank you. I don't need your help. Keep my little basket right here so I have great pleasure at shooting my little clips. I do purchase the cheap clips on Amazon, 100% admit to it because I use a lot. And so far in the last few months, you know, knock on cutting board wood, I only broke one. I broke an orange one the other day. I went to clip it and they break right here in the plastic because you're clipping them over and over again. They're just cheap plastic. I don't want to spend a lot of money and have something break. I don't know what I did, but it doesn't line up perfectly, but it's on the edges, so I'm going to ignore it and hopefully the points match up. Mary, it makes it so much easier sometimes. Plus, it really helps my budget. Yeah, sorry, Clover. It really helps my budget if I don't go to the store. Even as simple as grocery shopping. I know how to stay in a budget, and I can, but maybe this week I have a little extra money, and I might pick up something a little extra that I really don't need to buy, right? Whether it's food or yarn or something else. I took all of the yarn out of the hope chest that was underneath the table here and I put it in plastic bins so I can actually use it. And I must have had it squished pretty well down in the hope chest because it filled 2 of the Rubbermaid bins. Oops. All right, did all the points come close enough? Yeah. Maybe this one was just a little bit larger and I didn't trim it down or something. As long as it's on the edge, I don't mind. Yeah, good enough. Good enough for a zipper pouch. Yep, poor Giovanna. Giovanna, let me see, does anyone need to say anything to Giovanna? Put it in caps, I'll read it out loud for her. Poor Giovanna. Yeah, and sometimes they even come with a little container, right? I like the little containers because I can use it for something else. If you're just learning how to do stuff, please don't do what I do when I'm ironing because apparently I do it all wrong and it's illegal. But it works for me. You know when you learn something or you create that knowledge yourself, and I just can't change. I can't sit here and finger press it because it's hot and it burns my fingers, and I can't go like this. I just go like this. And I've learned what the fabric can handle and what it can't. And it works for me. And whatever you do probably works really well for you too, right? Sometimes I will press the seams open, but not on this one. So what did we put? We put the green on top. And then the gnome sits upright in the tree, so it must go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're welcome, Giovanna. Laura has glasses everywhere, Giovanna. She thinks that maybe, not that Laura's suggesting this, but I'm helping her suggest it. Sometimes it's good to have those reading glasses that you can get at the pharmacy stores like CVS and Walgreens, and just have them in the living room, in the kitchen, in the bedroom, in the bathroom, in the car. That's because, Giovanna, you left the house without a craft project, so you don't have your glasses. I don't know if you use reading glasses for crafting. That's right, Giovanna. You have to do what you have to do. And just because I'm on YouTube and I do tutorials, it doesn't mean that my way is any better than someone else's. But if you can't understand someone else's, then I recommend coming here because sometimes I do things in a weird way that helps. Sometimes I just talk a lot, then it drives people crazy. Oh, thank you guys. That was a good reminder for me. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching my quick little videos. And for those of you that left comments that said you like them, I'm going to keep going with that and make some less talkative videos. But when I really have everything formed and written out, I'll do a video in January and explain it all. But as a little bit of a sneak peek, I was thinking that in place of a Whip It Wednesday, to do a Robin vlog, not like the vlogs you see other people doing. I really don't want to watch a video for an hour where people just sew and play music. That's not for me. So I thought I'd do a little bit of something like sorting fabric, working on a project, what's going on this week, and incorporate it into this is what I finished. Like maybe show me sewing this a little bit and then show the finished project. So have one video a week that's nice and talkative and that's expected to be in a vlog, and then have the tutorial, when possible, be a little more concise, but also make sure that everyone's going to be able to go from start to finish and create that item. I don't want to make it short to make a bunch of people happy and not have it long and make other people unhappy. But my goal has always been with my tutorials, that person over there is me sitting in the corner that can follow everything, but when you don't show that one little part, I can't finish my project. So I want to make sure that person like me can see from start to finish on how to do everything, or at least refer them to a video that they can, you know? Oh, yeah, but when you're driving, it kind of changes, right? Yeah, me too, Laura. And I was watching them, and then all of a sudden they started turning into listening to the sewing machine or just watching the sewing machine just go project after project with music on it. We all know how we feel about music, and I can deal with the music because, you know, there's a volume button, but I work while the videos are playing, and if it's just sewing all the time, I'm not looking at it, I'm just listening to a sewing machine. I can listen to my own, right? Now, there's got to be a video for everyone, right? There has to be a video for everyone, and just because it's not for me doesn't mean it's not for you type thing. I have fusible fleece here. I was doing something else, so I cut a chunk off the bolt, and here we go. So, you know, there's something for everyone, and that's just all I'm doing is I'm trying to find something for everyone. And I've been here doing YouTube for so long now that it's nice to change things up a little, right? Thank you, Susan. That's why I want to make sure that at least one video a week, which will still be on Wednesday, and they'll still be at 11 o'clock or 9 o'clock, my apologies. It's 11 o'clock on the live streams. It'll still be there, right, at the time that you guys want and the type of video you want, but I want to mix up the tutorials a little bit and have them be short and long. And for the Whip It Wednesday vlog style thing, instead of just, hey, here it is, I know you guys seem to like the ones better that have more talking to them and not just here's a project. But things have just been a little bit funky, right? And this is driving me crazy. I can't talk and make a decision at the same time. Oh, you know what the problem is I'm doing it wrong. Okay. I told you guys I can't think and talk at the same time. That's why we don't do complicated things here. Oh, that's sweet, Tony. That's why I don't want to take the talking away. I think I just need to put it in the live stream title that it's live or was live. I have people that think the Whip It Wednesday's live, and if they don't show up at 8:50 is when it posts here in Arizona, that they're missing the live, but it's never live. And then I have people that think a live stream is a tutorial, and they get mad because I don't show the project and I talk too much. But they don't understand that what we're doing, oh, look at that, 10.5 by 8.5, just like I wanted. They don't understand that what we're doing is hanging out, and I just happen to be making the project. 10.5, right? Is that what I said? I can have issues with this on my own without you guys. 10.5 by 8.5, and I'll need 2 of those because I'll need one for the Santa. Now I'm choosing fusible fleece because, oh, that's not even. I'm going about 1/8 of an inch. I'm leaving 1/8 of an inch around the numbers I want because this is not cut square. I'm using fusible fleece because I don't want to quilt the back. I don't want to add quilting through Santa's face, and with this size pouch, don't cut the sewing mat. This size pouch, it really doesn't need to be quilted in the back. It'll be fine. The fusible fleece gives it that structure that I'm looking for. My apologies, I'm not looking at the chat right now. I'll look up in a minute after I figure out my numbers. Oh, come on. The little bits never want to come up. Trash can. I love the chit chat too, right? I mean, it's just, it's fun to hang out with people and have these conversations, and you're listening to crafty stuff. Like maybe if you're doing photography, you're going to listen to photography people chat. And then sometimes you just want to, get to the point, right? Sometimes you just came in, you want to hear how to do this one step, so you just fast forward to it. When people start talking and I'm not interested in what they're talking about, I fast forward. I don't understand how people just don't understand. I don't understand how understanding happens. Just fast forward, right? If it's not, excuse me, if it's not what you want to hear, just fast forward. A lot of times YouTube's put the little things on the bottom where the chapters are and stuff. I used to do it, but then YouTube started doing it for me, so I stopped. And then you can just fast forward to where you need to go. Oh, I need to add a tag too before we get too far, after we fuse it. Okay, this I'll need to cut the lining and the backing of the Santa. Fusible fleece can go over here out of the way. We'll bring the iron back up. I'm going to show you guys, you hang out with these live streams, you get all of my secrets that I don't show in tutorials. Because while I show a lot, I don't show everything. I don't have a heat press. Fusible fleece works great in a heat press. It needs pressure to it, in my opinion. So I take it, make sure all of my seams are stretched out and everybody's in a good spot. We have a link. Well, I don't know what links you're getting, but I'm glad you got them. Remember, these pouches are in the Etsy shop already, even though they're not finished. So you can kind of see what they're going to look like. So if anyone's interested, they'll be there. It's going to look like, that. And I'm going to put my tag, I'll probably put my tag maybe here on the bottom of the candy. We'll see. But firm press, I don't know what the directions say because I read it once and then did what I wanted to and what works. Steam. And the thing that I don't show, and especially with the patchwork ones this size, I take my clapper and I just really press. At some point, Jackie, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get a heat press. I just don't have the actual need for one right now, and I don't want to get bogged down doing the research. This helps the interfacing, the fusible fleece. It just presses it down to make sure the fabric is touching everywhere, and I find that this works the best for me. I hear that using like a heat press with the heat, I don't know if it's steamy, the heat and the pressure, it adheres it and it helps to keep it from getting too wrinkly. Now you have to be careful when you're doing things, because when it goes through and you turn a bag right side out and get wrinkly. Bear with me. I don't know if we're ever going to get to the zipper pouch of this, but now I want to do some quilting on it. So I'm going to go to the 1/4 of an inch. I want to do a 1/4 of an inch from each side, but I want to take my needle, I think I do 2 clicks less than a 1/4 inch, just because a 1/4 inch looks so wide to me. And I think a 2.6 stitch length will be fine. And I think with all of these fabrics, there's enough white everywhere that I can get away with using white. But you can use whatever color works for it. Laura, I don't have space either, but I would make space. They have some tabletop ones for like $150, $200. Sometimes I've seen them for $89, but I don't know the quality, so I haven't done anything. Now, with the fusible fleece, I can just leave this, but when I do patchwork, I consider this a quilted project, so now I want to put quilting lines on it, and I think it just adds something to it. Maybe we should change the thread. What do you think? I almost want to do a pink thread for the quilting. All right, if y'all want to choose a color, I'll pick out variations of that color. Let's see what we have. I don't think green is a good one. I don't think black is a good one. I do like, this is my favorite pink. This is called Blush. And what is this? This is, I have a lilac, and look, they're almost the same color. I don't think we need purple, but I just noticed it in there. Haven't even opened it yet. I do have a darker pink, but I like the light pink. If I'm going to go white and then say, no, let's not do white, I think I'll go a little bit. When did I start, Jody? About an hour ago. You know, Jackie, I don't have any variegated thread. When I first started buying thread, variegated cost more, and I've just never went and purchased anything. You know, I'm really thinking the pink blush. Yeah, I'm really thinking that too, Jody. This is the one I think I want to do. Because everything else is just like, I want to do a pastel color. Now I do have, I have to go through, during my time off, I want to go through and bobbin up all of, this is the bow thread. It's 100% cotton, but it's 30 weight. And for things like this, 30 weight, 50 weight, 60 weight, for the quilting part of it means nothing to me. I never really learned much about the weights, so I just kind of, again, just do what works for me. Ow. Nope, you're not early. All right, so I'm going to go with the blush because I feel like that's really the one. And I'm the one that can see all my colors and I know what I have. But by bobbining up, by taking the time to bobbin those, that's the problem. I should do it at night by getting those bobbinated. Oh my. All right, I guess it really doesn't matter because I have to bobbin the blush. Don't laugh at me, it's not funny. See, now you can't say being with me on a live stream isn't like hanging out with a friend, right? Because how many times are you going to do something, you're like, I use this is a thread I use all the time. I try to buy my bobbins in 200 to 500 packs. Like I'm almost out again because of all the new threads. And if I use it a lot, like I try to keep a whole donut of the white, and then several of the grays. And I try, when I use a lot of these, I'll keep a couple pinks and stuff like that. Okay. Robbie bought this for me in 2008, 2007. It's a sidewinder. I love it. I I can't get even bobbins on my sewing machine. I don't know what the deal is, so I love this. If this were to go, it started to be funky one time in Florida, and I was really sad. And I realized that the little springs in here, there's the tension thingies in there, just got smushed together. So I separated them, and it worked again because it was a really sad day. I would 100% buy this again. Hold on, I got it. I can do it. I don't know why I was doing it left-handed. Noisy. This way, it doesn't take that much to just kind of whip through. Yeah, Jody, I don't know. Am I Pacific time now or am I Mountain time? Since we had daylight. I was trying to figure that out the other day without having to actually answer my own question and look it up or something. If I know I'm not going to use much of the thread and it's like an off color that I just have for random things, sometimes I'll only fill the bobbin halfway, but that's usually out of impatience versus out of, you know, being smart. All right. Thankfully, my girls don't chew on cords, so I can just set this off to the side. They'll rub their face all over it, but they're pretty good. All right, cut the thread at the top of the machine and then pull the broken piece through. Thread is on my list for next year, so I need to go through and I need to get another bobbin of this. Or cone of that. With what we're doing today, I won't even use up that little bit. Normally I would use it up, especially with a project like this, but I don't want to be talking and then sewing without any bobbin because that's annoying. And I like to stop at the end of a run and not have to stop halfway here and bury the threads and all of that. All right. I need to buy, did you guys see the new key fobs I put up? I made one for a tutorial. I think it's tomorrow's tutorial maybe. I don't know. When we're done going live, I need to edit a bunch of videos and get them all scheduled. But I made this key fob and I fell in love with the Christmas candy cane stripe like that. So I pulled, hi Mona, did what? I pulled out all of my stripe fabrics and I chose a bunch. I think I made 20 or 21 key fobs. They're all in the shop and I put them on the community page for you guys to see them. So there's some green candy cane and red candy cane and I just had fun. So I listed those separately as striped key fobs. Okay. 2 clicks to the right from 1/4 inch apart, and then I'm going to do both directions, use the side of my presser foot to determine. I have a 2.6, but if I don't like it, I will make it smaller. Oh, that looks good. This is the part that does take time, right? But I think little finishing touches really help your project. Sue got one of my favorites. She got a pink one. I really like the pink with the wide and small. Jackie, you put it in the hallway? I was thinking the same thing. Like sometimes putting it in the hallway would just make sense, especially if it's like right outside. Like I sew right next to my door. So putting it in the hallway would make sense. Now, my girls are not good with design walls. They, one girl, Mocha, if I put pins in it, she would pull all the pins off. And if the AC or the wind from a window or something, a breeze, just blew the fabric, the blocks, everyone else would think it's a toy to play with. Thanks, Jody. I thought the stripes were fun. I'm just taking and pulling up the thread from the bobbin and the machine and just moving over instead of cutting it. The presser foot is up, so there's no tension on it. The needle's up, so I don't think I'm doing anything horrible, but I'm sure I am. When you're working with a zipper pouch and you're using it, you generally only see one side, so I don't mind doing patchwork on one side and leaving the other as a specialty fabric. I think that works out well for cost and time and patience. I just think we need an overflow. I know at the last house I was spoiled I'm spoiled at this house having a big room, but having all of the bedrooms so that I can have the one I slept in, the one I sewed in, and then that third bedroom for just the overflow. Because you don't need everything out all the time, right? Not everything needs to be front and center. Bobbinated. Did I make that? I couldn't have made that up, right? Doesn't other people bobbinate things? I'm sure they do. But bobbinated, yeah, it seems like it's an official word. Seems like an official word. Look, if you can't think of a word and whatever, you just make them up, right? That works. Some things, I don't think even nowadays, they don't have a word for them, so. She got glasses, yay! Giovanna can read now. I think pink was the right choice. White can be, if I didn't use pink, I probably would have went with the cream. White can be quite bright and stark against things, but if you use a cream or a light gray, a beige, just one of those low volume, paler colors, it just kind of sneaks in and hides. But when you look at it, it still adds something to it. Ow, I got stuck. So you can see the pink on the white here, but when it's up on the bones, it doesn't look quite as pink. It doesn't look white. It's just there. And when you look at it overall, I think it works out really well. Oh, Justin's home. Okay, now we need to cut out Santa. Now, does Santa work on the back of this? Do you think I should change my mind? I just grabbed Santa because I like him. The community page doesn't like Sue at all. Do you think Santa's too much? You think I should pick one of these? I think I should pick one of these fabrics. If anyone's in the chat right now and you were interested in purchasing one of these pouches, I'm going to change my mind and put something else on. Before I make the second pouch, if you want Santa on the back, let me know. I won't be making it maybe tonight, probably not, because I have all of those videos to get done and ready because some of them need to be up for tomorrow. I think I'm going to change my mind on what fabric goes back there. Just because I feel like the big Santa in your face doesn't work. I think I want this. I love having just Christmas fabrics. They're not old, they're not new, they're just, you know, fun, colorful ones. What do you think? Yeah, I think Santa would need to go on a different pouch. With these patchworks, as I was starting to put them together, I'd already taken a picture of Santa just because he's fun and I love that fabric. But I think too busy. Santa or that one. Hold on. Hold on. I'm trying not to hit you guys with the cord. I mean, we can always go with simple gnomes. This is how I choose fabrics. You just lay them out. And I think the gnomes are too blue, right? So hold on, hold on. If you guys pick a color, that could help. Red, blue, beige. Tan, trees. How about, I could do the dog. I mean, I have solids, yeah, solids, but they're not Christmas. What about the gingerbread houses? Pink? Oh, you're pushing it now on that one. So we have this. We have this. That might work because of all the blacks. We have that red. Some things I'm saving for I have snowflakes. That's good for the lining. I think I want something fun on the lining. So we have blue, but I think blue, I didn't like blue over here, right? Ho, ho, ho. You think we should do the ho, ho, ho? That doesn't look bad, does it? The big dots. Oh, the pinky ones. Where'd they go? I think I put them back. I have these gingerbread people. Like these snowmen, I'm kind of hoarding them because I love them and I shouldn't hoard them, but I'm allowing myself to hoard them. Same thing with that. Now, ho, 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 I have enough I can share, right? You know. Remember, we're going to have a green zipper. Otherwise, I can change the zipper color. That's fine. See, all of these in here, I don't have yardage of most of them. The plaid. Put the ho, ho, ho in the lining. That would be fun. And that's dark, so that would work. This is where you get in trouble, right? Trying to decide. Let me see what I have else. White cardinals, red cardinals. What about black? Oh, here's the pink ones again. And peppermints. I don't like the peppermints. Oh God, there's more Santa fabric down there. I mean, I have red. Ho, 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 ho. Okay. So, do we want ho, ho? Okay. Let's put all of these away. There's just something about these snowmen. They feel very 1970s, 1980s growing up making snowmen. There's just something about them that I love. And I always love gingerbread house stuff. And then, okay. Do we want the plaid on the back or ho, ho, ho on the back? Let's do that far. Excuse me, I'm reaching. Ho, ho, ho on the back. Yeah, the snowmen are very retro. I like them. Ho, ho, ho on the back. And then this is too dark for the lining, I think. I don't think that's quite fun. I mean, we can do something different on the lining. I've put the gnomes on the lining. Let's put the gingerbread houses on the lining, maybe. Oh, you like the dots? I didn't even pull out like polka dots. Put that in the lining. And then I can do, maybe I can get away with the pink zipper that way. Now we have 2 of them, so I will set aside the plaid for the second one. And then I can put pictures up and people can choose what they want. Excuse me if I'm hitting the tripod, my apologies. Okay, now I need a zipper. Okay, first things first. Lining, crazy zippers, move you out of the way. We need a 10.5 by 8.5 ho, ho, ho. I save every little bit of this fabric. I love it. I bought several yards of that because I wanted to make sure I had enough. Because you know it's going to go out of style, right? It's going to be gone. The peppermint's on the lining? Yeah. This is going to be the lining. Yeah. So we'll do that. And I need to make sure it's not 8.5, so this piece won't work. And the ho ho hos, my apologies, I may not get them perfect. Sometimes they're just a little crooked because they're printed crooked. So this is, I think someone sent me their scraps, so this is a salvage and what's off to the side. And I don't even put the scraps, most of them, into the Christmas scraps. Yeah, this should work. Okay. Cut from... Okay, here we go. I need to press this because it's definitely not looking good. So I have the pressing station in my chair. My apologies, I'm just going to press over here. And let me make sure I press enough. Okay. Yeah, the ho 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 is printed crooked, and I don't mind like cutting crooked, but it's not only crooked, but it's kind of wavy too. And sometimes I can stretch it into place, but not always. So unless it's really super important, I just let it do what it wants to do. It kind of has a diagonal feel to it, the way, because it's ho, exclamation ho, and it just has that feel to it. Okay. So we're only cutting the back, so we only need one that's 10.5 by 8.5. So let me line up 8.5 at the bottom of a ho, 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 and see how that does. It looks reasonable. Rotary cutter. I'm going to cut to 11. I agree with chat, talking, visiting, and learning with Robin. Yeah, we're all just kind of hanging out, and I show the way I make decisions. I know some of my patrons, and when you guys see it too, you enjoy just seeing the process, you know, and how it goes. Sometimes I just make a mistake cutting, and when I do it this way, it's kind of crazy, but hey. All right, we clean up this mess after the live stream. I might at one point make a ho 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 key fob too, if I can get the words to line up just right. So we're doing 10.5 by 8.5, 8.5 on the ho 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 Excuse me, I had to go up that way. And that means this. And then this. Well, with the fusible fleece, unless it's going to do me wrong today, I find that if I cut my fabric exact, I'm fine. Even when I quilt it, it will stay the same size, unless I go crazy quilting, of course. But just what I did, the size of the front of the pouch stayed the same, and we were good. So, you know. And we have this, and we have this. Oh, 100% cotton fabric. Yeah, I was busy. I'm sorry. I get busy and then I don't look up. Yeah, totally missed that. Thanks, Jody. I do 100% cotton. Now, I will, sometimes I'll find things at a thrift store. I have some like bathing suit and gymnastic fabrics that I'll use for a zipper pouch, but they're in the stash somewhere and I don't know where they are. I brought all of my plastic bins from the garage, and I have to be careful. I don't want to stretch the fabric until it adheres. And I need to go through everything and figure out what I have, what I'm really going to keep, and what I should just donate. Now the iron spits a little because it's an iron and I have water in it, and you're not supposed to put water in the iron, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I have an attitude today. You see that? I apologize. Sometimes a little blop will come out, and I find if I get a little bit of something on there, excuse me, if I just take some water, it looks like I need to clean the iron again. Just put a little water on there. Lightly watered also helps the fusible fleece and interfacing it here. I read that on a smart blog one day. Red fabric tends to change color when you iron it. I have no idea. Someone smart told me once and I forgot. Robin, type of thread. Yes, I use cotton. Now, I do have Coats & Clark, which is a blend or a polyester, and that's fine, but I try to stick with, I have the essential thread, which is from Connecting Threads, and I buy the 100% cotton, and I buy, there you go. This is Essentials 100% cotton, 50 weight is what I mostly buy, just because that's what I bought and now I use it. I'm telling you honestly, I didn't have the knowledge, and now apparently I'm supposed to use a thicker polyester thread to sew my bags, but I'm not making leather bags or vinyl bags. I'm making quilted bags. So if I use the thread for a quilt, I'm going to use it for my bag making. It only makes sense to me. See that? See how well it adheres when you press it like that? Don't tell anyone my secret. Okay, that's the outside and the front. Did I lose the front? Oh, there's the front. Okay. The outside and the front. And then I need 2 of these. Now, if this were purple fabric, I would take the extra bits and I would put them in my purple stash of scraps. But because it's a specialty Christmas fabric, I don't do that. And that piece, well, no, that piece might work. So if I know I want a small bit of this fabric, I can look in there and find it, other than trying to look in 7 different places. Thank you, guys. So I have the cotton essential threads, and I'm also using the Missouri Star Quilt Company. They have cotton thread on their small little spools, so I use that also. And I just recently purchased that bow thread because a lot of people on TikTok are raving about it. The prices are really cheap on Instagram, but it is a thinner weight, so I've been using that for quilting things. I just sew everything together with my cotton thread, and then I honestly could care less what thread it is for a quilting on a zipper pouch or a tote bag. I care, of course, I want it to stay together and, you know, not be weird. My sewing machine seems to love the cotton thread, It doesn't mind any brands. I have used the M1 Metler, and I have used, oh, the Italian one. Oh my goodness, no brain today, sorry. So I have used the big expensive name brands, and they're nice, but I don't know. I find that between the connecting threads has some of the craziest colors, like the aloe and the blush, that I can't find anywhere else, and it works really great. I don't have a lot of dust unless I'm using a red. Red just tends to produce a lot of lint, so that works out really well for, oops, that stuck a little. So they work out really well for me. Are we good? Did I answer everyone? Just a few hundred of you, that's all. There's not a lot of you that watch all the time, and whoever comes across this. Now, some of these videos might hit, you know, I used to bring in 2,000-3,000 on my live streams. I don't anymore, and that's okay, because live streams, I kind of like to have just a small group of us so everyone can keep up with the chat, and we can all be kind of a little friends together and hang out. Now, of course, my other videos, I would love for them to get back up to where they were. I know the health of my channel when YouTube starts suggesting my channel to me. Like after today's live stream, I will get a notification on YouTube recommending I watch this live stream. I think it's hilarious. But I can tell my channel is healthy when YouTube suggests me to myself. So that means they're pushing me out to the quilting community and just the basic sewers and whatever. Because, you know, let's face it, I don't make quilts much anymore, but I use quilting techniques. I don't know how to label myself because I'm not part of the bag making type community. I'm just a crafter, just a sewer, you know. Aurifil, there you go. Yeah, Aurifil's expensive. I won some when we were doing blogs all the time, and I went blog hopping. I entered all the competitions and the giveaways and stuff, and I won some. And at one point, Aurifil, when they were really just starting to come over here big time and pushing it to the quilters, they were giving it away free. If you filled out a little survey and you were the first, 2,000 people to do it, I need to iron this, to do it, then you got a free little sample pack of Aurifil thread. And that's how I tried it out. Sometimes one of you will just send me something. You're like, my machine doesn't like this. You want to try it? And I'll be like, yeah, I'll try it. I generally just go back to what works, right? If it works, why do we have to change it? Yeah, there could be something better out there, but I don't know. Gutermann thread. Gutermann is a really popular one. A lot of people like it. I like Gutermann, but I find that Gutermann is, I don't know, it's just because Gutermann is really similar to what I already have in quality and stuff, in my opinion. I don't feel like it's, if I were doing hand applique or something, I might be like, oh, this is really important. But as long as my machine likes it, I'm happy with it. Someone sent me, can I reach it easily? Someone sent me a package of pre-wound bobbins, and they're all, I don't know where it is. They're all polyester. And I use that for quilting my postcards. Because of the variety of things I do, I find I can use almost anything. Someone sent me a cone of polyester. It's a little fuzzier than the cotton. I was really surprised. It's maybe because it's called spun polyester. And I use that for sewing fabric postcards. That way I don't waste the good thread. And then it works. My thing is I don't want to accidentally make a bowl cozy and use the wrong thread. So I try to be really careful. Yeah, and the subscription boxes and stuff you get, Jackie, exactly. And I think they're a great way to try something new, to see if you like it. And then, you can make the decision. Is it in your budget? Is the cost? I am willing to spend far too much money on something if the cost is compared to the product that I'm getting. Is the benefit worth the cost, right? What's that fancy word? Cost analysis or something? I will spend the money if it's more amazing than what I already have. There's that. There's that. That's the lining. I need to get, I have to go over here. I need to put a tag on that. I think I'll just stick with this one. I get my labels from Ever Emblem. They have an Etsy shop, but if you go to their regular website, they sell them to you cheaper. Like you could save, I don't know, $5 or $10 on an order cheaper. Because I think if I put this right here in between the quilting lines, see, it fits perfectly between the quilting lines, then that'll work. Because it's not really blocking anything. And I mean, I could put it up here too, but that kind of blocks the gnomes, blocks the Santa. And it doesn't like stick out strongly. So, and I could do these myself, but I'd have to learn how, and I'd have to figure out a lot of things that I just don't have time to figure out right now. And I get the ones with the heat and bond light on the back. That on. Where's my iron? Because if I have to sew this in place without the heat and bond, it is crooked every time. So I buy labels that go on small projects, that go inside the bag, go on table runners and stuff. I don't put this on bowl cozies because I don't know, how safe it is. And I've seen a few people say, I put my label on a bowl cozy, but I don't know if it's microwave safe, so just don't put it in the microwave. I don't know about that, right? I don't know. All right, let me put, the cats will attack my wool mat. So let's put the label on. Oh, it's only 12:25. I'm doing pretty good today. I'm feeling very good about the time this is taking. Okay. Machine embroidery. See, that's a little bit different, and you kind of want something with a little bit of a shine to it and stuff. I did machine embroidery a little bit on my first machine or my second machine. I had that Disney one, and then I didn't finish up with it anymore. I didn't do it anymore, so I just used the embroidery thread for just sewing. It worked. It was fine. Okay. I'm going to use pink. I usually put white on it, so if I'm crooked, it doesn't matter. What labels do you use on the bowl cozy? Nothing, Jackie. Not a thing. Not a thing. So my bowl cozies aren't labeled. If I sold a lot of bowl cozies, I make a bunch. They sell here and there. They might sit in the shop. Some might sell right away, and then others sit in the shop for a year or two. So I just make them because for some crazy reason I like to be tortured. Open-toed foot so I can see where I'm stitching. And I find that I like to take 1 or 2 stitches past the label to have it like, it gives us this tacked down look to it. And then turn it. Now these are cotton. Now maybe if I got my concern is the ink. Right, so I could ask Ever Emblem, is there metal in your ink or anything like that? And they may or may not be able to find an answer for me. But they're cotton labels, so if I got them without heat and bond, they might work. I bought a metal wall-mounted Gutermann spool holder. Oh, yeah. I do not leave anything uncovered here or in Florida, because the house in Florida was dusty. Here, everything is dusty, plus the cat fur. Now, I've trained my cats to figure everything over a certain height doesn't exist. And they're not kittens anymore. They're all 10 years or older, so they're pretty well behaved. My daughter's cats, oh my goodness, those girls can jump from the ground to the top of the refrigerator. They're just crazy cats. And then stitch past. And there's a label. Sometimes I don't know, my thread cutter likes to work, doesn't like to work, doesn't like fusible fleece. All right. So now we have to pick a zipper, and Robin, it needs a drink. Catch up on chat. Giovanna, the problem is the label non-metallic. Is it 100% cotton so that it can go in the microwave? Because if I'm the only person in the world making a bowl cozy, I'll just put it in my listing. I say not to put it in the microwave, right? You don't have to. But if you do, do it this way. If I were the only person in the world making bowl cozies, I would just tell you not to put it in the microwave and the world would be great. But people buy a bowl cozy from you, Giovanna, and it's 100% cotton safe. And then they get a bowl cozy from me and they're like, hey, a bowl cozy is a bowl cozy. Put it in the microwave and then there's sparks. So I don't want to have that issue. Mine too, Giovanna. I have them in plastic, like shoeboxy containers. I'd like to get one more because I have that bro thread in the drawer taking up space. So I would like to, oops, switch out the foot. I would like to have it in a container also. I like to keep each brand of thread in its own container. And I have one for miscellaneous threads. So it could be metallic. Now I think I do have one rainbow variegated thread over there. But it wouldn't have worked for Christmas anyway. There are my cheat sheet fell off the wall. There are lots of threads because of what I do. I could leave them, but whenever I leave threads, they're always sneaky and they find their way back in. Okay, these threads don't bother me much. Snip, snip, snip. Snips are good. Okay. Now, let's see if we can find a fun pink. Okay, these guys, excuse me, pardon me. Come here, snowman. Go hang out there. I splurged and bought myself an early Christmas gift because my headphones, my earbuds, they stopped working. No matter how high of the volume, I couldn't hear even with 2 in. So Raycon had a sale and I splurged. And these, oh, here it is. These are the ones that go over your ear and they just sit at your, like over your ear hole area. I don't know what it's called. So it doesn't go in your ear. It's flat. They work really well. I won't know if they're worth the cost because they're $79 and I think I got it on sale for $59 or $49 with the Black Friday deal. But I won't know for a year because the $20 ones didn't last a year. I mean, I didn't expect them to, but yeah. Okay. I can't think of another way to organize zippers. I just put them in the bags and I write the length on them. So this is the pastels and there are some darker ones in there. And then see, I have all of these greens and stuff. I really need to do better and I need to look at the zipper and then make the pouch, not make the pouch and go, gee, do I have a zipper? But I have pink in here, so that's good. So let's put hody, 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 ho, like that. And then I like to, I have a set of 8 variegated from Bro Thread. I don't use a lot of variegated. I might end up, if I sew more with the Bro Thread, I might look into it more, but I would definitely, since it's just a quilting, I'm not too particular on things like this to use variegated, so it's one of the reasons I haven't really looked at it much. So I take this and I just lay it across the pouch. I'm like, yeah, okay. That's not bad. It is a bit of a bold choice. It does go well with the pinks and stuff. That's the lining. And then I have this pink. And when I look at it, I'm like, okay, the light color is not bad with this, but the light color doesn't go well with all of the other ones. The bright one pulls out those pinks, even though there's just a couple. And because it's such a deeper color, a darker color, it can stand on its own against some of these darker colors and survive, right? Otherwise, oh wait, what's that? I do have a red. The pink squares, the pink zipper, the pink lining, the pink quilting, I'm going to go with red. But now that I know I have a red, I might choose it. Or I don't think I even have black zippers. See, I need white and black and then just some various colors. I go through a lot of 12 to 14 inch zippers because of all the zipper pouches. Bro Thread is on Amazon. Save, oh, right. Are we putting Santa on the back or no? We're just not doing Santa, right? Yeah, I need to. Red is so hard for me in zippers because it seems like most of them are an orange red versus a red red. Okay. Ta-da. One day I need to do the video. There's a trick where you can put fabric on your zipper so that your zipper becomes the matching fabric. Like I could put the ho 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 right on there so that when you have the fun zipper, it's not something I'd want to do all the time, but it does work. It can be done for something fun. Yeah. Okay. Green zippers, go. Lining, outside, zipper, front. Okay. Right side's down, right side's up. I have no need and no plan to do anything with it, but when the zipper is too long, excuse me one second. I like to leave the extra bit of zipper here. So if I ever figure out a craft to do with it, I have it here. If I'm using a super long zipper, I leave it all here because I can buy a new zipper pull and then use this for like the inside of a bag for just a little coin spot or something. So if I do have too long of a zipper, I make sure I pay attention. Now this one it's not enough. I'll just kind of center it. Start in the center. I don't need as many clips as I used to, but sometimes when I'm having a day, I'll put my clips. I don't care, right? Who's going to know if I put my clips that close together? If I need help an extra day, I might just add some like that. Sometimes you just need that extra support. Sometimes I forget to add the other piece of fabric to it when I'm sewing. I need a lot of help. When you're new to sewing zippers, you can just sew that zipper down, right? And then come back, because having the 3 layers, it can make it a little harder to keep everyone in place. They do have double-sided tape that the vinyl and leather people like to use, or people that just really struggle with zippers. To be honest with you, sometimes my fabric will peek out and it'll get a little wonky and stuff. It really isn't noticeable unless I go really wild and crazy. So I don't even worry. I don't stress about a lot of those mistakes. So if I tell you about a mistake, it's probably because it irks me, or I want you to see that it's not that big of a deal to make that mistake. Oh, glide thread. I've heard glide thread. Glide thread for the pre-wound bobbins are supposed to be amazing. Isn't that what Jenny from Missouri Star uses? She only uses pre-wound bobbins now. Well, before she went to Africa, I don't know what she does now. Yeah, so there's different things we can do with those, Giovanna. I know I saw one in my blogiverse days, wandering around the blogs, that you can make flowers and stuff. And I haven't spent enough time wandering around trying to tuck in my microphone. Okay, zipper foot. I don't have one of those. My machine comes with a zipper foot. Some machines have that really skinny, like a toe foot there. And then when I get talking, I forget which side I'm supposed to put the clip on. My goodness. I think that's it, right? Let me double check. Yes. So I have a zipper foot. Some people sew, if you have the wider bag zippers and this piece of fabric is wider, you can just use a regular sewing machine foot. Midnight quilter? Yeah. Yeah, Midnight Quilter is not loud Midnight Quilter anymore, is she? Did I put this on right side up? Yes, okay. Leave it to me to put the outside on upside down. And And I put a little Sharpie mark on the tip of my foot here so that I know exactly where I want to line it up so that I get my stitching line in the right spot. I can't do the thing where you line up the side of the zipper. Ow, it bit me. The zipper foot with the teeth and stuff, that just doesn't work for me. Again, we all do things differently, right? And whatever works for us. And she missed. And sometimes things just get so wonky, I take all the clips off and just hold it with my fingers. Whatever, right? I got a green thread, that's fun. And if the automatic cutter's not behaving, then I'll just clip it. Okay, I need the ironing station up here. What I've learned and noticed is some of the less expensive thread will fray a lot and you'll get pieces everywhere. But I've also learned that the very expensive, huge name brands will do the same exact thing. This is from the Gypsy Quilter. There's a variety of things you can use to pick up the threads. I've been using this and enjoy it. I have a video showing all different ways to clean your wool mat, and that's on there. Okay. Oh. I really need to start paying attention to where my tails are. Keep forgetting. It's on the inside. Don't tell my secrets. And then I press it away. Now, I'm using a nylon zipper. I don't use metal. They're too much of a pain in the butt. If I were doing one specific pouch, and I use the wool mat to hold my lining fabric, and it kind of scooches it, right? If that makes sense. Some things you just can't say in words. Line them up. Fusible fleece has the fleece on the back, so it holds everything in place like when you're putting felt letters up on a flannel board and stuff. And then I'm out of water again because I steam too much. It's a little iron. It only holds so much, right? I have that little rolling cart with all the drawers next to me. I just keep it on the top so I don't spill it. And then I do this. I do not worry too much about little bits of thread everywhere. I do lint roll the outside when I take pictures, and then I wait until I go to send it out, and I lint roll the inside and outside, because there's always a chance that you can get more thread on it when I'm doing it in a video. Anytime it comes near the table, it can get thread on it, right? Is that wet or is that a stain? All right, well, I'm going to leave it and see what happens. And if that is an actual stain, then it's hard to tell if something's hot or wet. If that ends up being a stain, then I will put it as a discount in the shop. It really does. It works great. And I can also do it along the edge and get that nice and clean. Line it up on the edge and then line it up across the top. Yeah, it works really good. I have something similar but plastic that I use for the cat fur, and that works good on here too. So if you want a cheap version, you can get one of those plastic ones for cat fur and get that on there. Now, normally I would set this project aside and wait and see what happens with that ho fabric. Excuse me. But we're working, and if it doesn't, if it leaves a little stain, I'll take a significant amount off and put it in the shop. I'm really starting to wonder, like, did something splurt out of my iron? Okay, that's it. No, hold on. We can't go any further. We just can't. There's just too much, and I'm too concerned. Can you guys see right there? And then it sprays all the way up here. So we can't do that. We have to stop and take the time and do it right. We put too much effort into this already just to, I don't mind if something happens to put it on a discount, but I don't want to, the old me would just finish it and mark it down, but I really don't want to do that, right? Let's do this the right way. Let's not burn anything with the iron. I don't think that's big enough. It doesn't look like, is it? Oh, it is. Nice. Okay, let's iron that. Let's not iron the ruler. Yeah. I mean, I could put a patch, but I had to put like a ho patch on top of it or something. And at this stage, it could come out, like I might be able to just clean it with like a wet washcloth or something. Sometimes that happens with the irons, and that's why they tell you not to put water in it. I know. I've tried spritzing, like when it comes to fabric, whatever, I keep that water bottle. I keep my little Dollar Tree or Walmart water bottle here, and I spritz with it. But when I'm doing like a quilt block, there's nothing like a good steam to make it lay flat. And you're not going to change my mind on that one, right? Okay, keep all the fabric out from under it. Pouches out of the way. No cords. And this is not like if I saw something in the patchwork and I'd be like, oh no. This is a simple, just trim it out. Oh no, 10.5 by 8.5. That looked awfully big. All right, that's better. I have the fusible fleece. I have more ho fabric. It's not like we went through all of this and I got sad because I couldn't use it because we used the last of the most perfect, bestest ever fabric. Then I'd be like, whatever. But we have this. We can do this. And then we need fusible fleece. 8.5 by 10.5. Well, Rowentas are the ones that last forever, aren't they? They're expensive though. But if you, for that long, it's one of those things is if you have the budget, then, you know, go for it. Really, it's, if I were on my own, this would take less to fix, but really it's not even taking that long, right? 10 minutes. Because otherwise, if you put that bit in the quilt, like say that happened on your quilt, and every time you go to use your quilt, you now have to look at that, right? And it's really going to be upsetting if you see it all the time. But if you're like, whatever, it's no big deal. It's the size of a grain of sand, grain of rice or something, right? You're like, whatever. But for this, if this one comes out like that, that's it. I'm done. I give up for the day, right? Things happen. I've had worse mistakes. Yeah, I'll just take it and I'll hit it with some water and see what I can do, Giovanna. And it might come out. And if not, like whatever. Arizona is mountain time. All right. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate that. Did you see my computer just go wonky? I need to take some time to spend up. I have the Apple Care or whatever for it because it's a Mac, a MacBook Air or something like that. It's an expensive laptop. So I got that because also it's a Mac and I only know how to do Windows stuff. So I need to go up and talk to the smart people up at Best Buy and they'll tell me how to fix everything and do all the stuff. I get really lost sometimes when I thought we were 3 hours behind. My son Justin had to kindly tell me that in the fall, when you fall back, that means we're closer to Florida time, not farther away, mother dear. I'm like, thank you, my child. You're so helpful. Mr. Sarcasm. Okay, see, look at that. We are back on track. That's a thread. I thought, why is there a black line on that? Okay. I also thought I cut it that way for a second. Right sides together of the outside pieces. Sometimes by saying things out loud, it can help keep you on track. So sometimes I talk to myself. I find I do it more in the morning and the evening when the brain's not quite functioning quite well. Flip it over. Right sides together. There's no directional fabric on these, so I'm not going to worry about, gosh, the threads. They're not even threads from this. They're like from the fabric I pulled out. I don't have to worry about the direction. Oh, no, I already have clips. Okay, is she going somewhere fun for dinner? I can't eat out, so I'm always curious on where they go and what they eat. Curious, nosy, whatever. I am the neighbor who peeps through the blinds to see what you're doing. We don't have much activity, knock on wood, here either. It's a very quietish neighborhood. Okay, zipper foot still. Take everything, slide it down a little so I have room to start. Pizza, yum. I love pizza. A lint roller, yeah. I have the reusable lint rollers. I think one of you guys sent them. I don't know if I bought them. I think I had them on my wish list for Amazon. And I saw someone in a Airbnb. You can get those washable lint rollers, the reusable ones, on a long pole. After I do my sheets and they go through the washer and dryer, they always have like lint and some cat fur and stuff on them. Just a dryer lint and stuff. So I always take that roller and clean them. But it would be nice to have a bigger one on a stick. That's one of those things like you don't need it, right? But it would be nice. I try to keep a little personal private wish list on Amazon of things like that. Things that would be nice if I had to spare whatever amount of dollars. This is something that would make my life easier, but I don't have to have. And then when I do, like if I get a gift card for my birthday or Christmas or Mother's Day, or sometimes with health insurance, if you do like a preventative care visit or something, they'll send you a gift card, like a Visa gift card, which I received recently. So that just gives me an extra $25. And while I could use it at Walmart for groceries and stuff, I like to hang on to it. So if something on my, boy, this would make my life easier list comes on sale, I'll pick it up. Monday's a public holiday. Sunday is National Pearl Harbor Day, and it says Remembrance Day underneath it. So maybe something similar like that for you. Seems to be a lot that happens in December. I am on the back of the nylon. I go pretty quick. The nylon teeth of the zipper, so I don't worry about it too much. And when I flip it over and I bring this over, I kind of hover next to it, but if my iron hits it, as long as I don't stay too long on it, I'm okay with it. Now here's a tip for you guys. If you're using really thick fabrics, maybe that foam stuff, if you heat up this section and you take your tailor, this one's a tailor's or your quilter's clapper, and you put it on there and you kind of weigh it down, it helps compress that seam so that when you top stitch, you don't get that big roll looking thing. I don't like that thing. It drives me crazy. Immaculate Conception of Madonna Mary. Well, happy Sunday birthday to your son, Laura. Happy, 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 happy. My kids are in April, May, and June, so I'm good for quite a while. Monday is I'm good this week. I don't see any appointments on my calendar. I have 2 next week and 1 at the end of the month. So I'm not done yet. And the one at the end of the month, I'm doing the mammogram and bone scan. So I'm counting that as a double appointment. I am going to keep with the pink thread because I quilted with it and I like it to go on there. And it will also be fine on the back. You can pick clips or pins to hold it. Sometimes if it's no batting or something in there, it needs slip, I'll put a couple here or a couple there. But when I'm sewing, I mostly just go like this and it stays good. I used to top stitch as soon as I did one side and then I would top stitch the other. Now I just do both at once. Saves a little bit of time and thread. All right, zipper foot. I have a space that I like. I don't know. 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, whatever top stitching is supposed to be. Always bring both of them up because otherwise there'll be a mess inside the lining. Make sure everything's good. And I try to go and not stop. And if I have to stop, I try to walk my fingers because I find that keeps my line straight. You could always mark it if you really need to. See how my fingers are pressing down still gently, but I'm walking them. And that ho, ho, ho is just slightly crooked, but I don't think it's a big deal. Good job, Giovanna. I was supposed to do it earlier in the year, but I'm new to the area, so I don't know all the places, and nobody ever called, and then I forgot about it, and at that point, it was already time for my next annual. Well, I was doing it every 6 months then, so then I did that. All negative is very nice. Very, very nice. My Florida doctors weren't very good at sending all of my records here, so who knows. But I do have the app with all of my results. I didn't get rid of the app. The apps here aren't very good for your records and stuff, but it is what it is. Okay. Just trim those ends there. Everything looks good. You can also lay them out like this and see, but really when you have a pouch, you're looking at this and you might look it down a little bit. I think the front and the lining are really more important. All right. Zipper to the inside. When I first started doing zipper pouches, this is where I got confused because I couldn't understand it in the pictures, where you put the outside together and the lining together and you have that. That confused me like crazy. Oh, you have a lot of them. Oh, gee, Giovanna, yep, you're in trouble. Mammogram here, at least in the US, is one of the things that I think most people should get because there are so many places that'll do it for free because they know how important the preventative testing like that is. So even without insurance and stuff like that, there's all kinds of companies that provide discounts or coupons and stuff. I'm lining up that top where it hits the zipper. Okay, and lining up the bottom. If yours don't line up everywhere, you can just trim off the excess. It doesn't matter too much, right? Line up the bottom. I have pink thread in. The lining's pink. I have enough of the pink thread that I don't feel like I won't have enough for the next project. Otherwise, I would switch to white. I try to keep my stitch everything together thread still the same color, because sometimes the seams, you can see a little bit of the thread, and if your thread matches, then it's just less like if you're sewing a black pouch, I try not to sew it with white thread because the white would be easily to be seen. Oh, that's cute. I've seen the babies in the stockings. That's adorable. I saw someone make a stocking for 2 blankets on one of those social media places. I thought that was really cute. It was a guy, so if that, I don't know if that helps anyone, but it was a gentleman that made a stocking blanket for him and his wife, and it wasn't just shaped like a stocking. It was big enough for them to sleep in, like snuggle in like a sleeping bag. Okay. Leave an opening for turning, whatever size works for you. I try not to go too small because I don't want to wrinkle that fusible fleece that much, right? Or your interfacing and stuff like that. So if you have a bigger opening, then there's less chances of it having to wrinkle up to get through. I lost my presser foot. I do 3/8 of an inch seam allowance at a 2.0 stitch length. I like it a little tight. And a drink. Yeah, Giovanna, like he had it laid out on his living room floor and stuff. And because he was using like a fleecy material, you don't have to put a lining or anything. It's a blanket. Back stitch. Whoops. You guys know the trick where you make a wider seam allowance on your lining, and then you either use 1/4 of an inch on the outside and 1/2 of an inch on the lining, or you stitch your lining so that it's a little wider and it kind of angles up a little. I'll show you when the stitching's done. I've shown it before, but I don't show it over and over again. When you get to the point where the lining meets the outside, you want it to be the same length, because it matches up when you're stitching it, right? So then I slow down, because you want to stay over that zipper where it's folded, and go slow to make sure you're not hitting the teeth. I had a comment and a question. If you're nervous, use the hand crank and just go really slow. Just catching up. Everyone's talking about birthdays. You don't have to speed over that zipper, and I don't know if I backstitched or not, but I like to backstitch. I don't think I did. It's not a big deal. I sew right off of the fabric, and when I come back on, I never used to, but now I backstitch, because a few people had a freak out because they're like, you know, your seams are going to come undone, so I just backstitch. It's like sewing quilt blocks. If they cross over each other, I feel like they're fine. And then this side is usually easier because the zipper lays flat because it's open. Let's see, I can remember the backstitch. And then when I get a little bit past, I just make a, right now my 3/8 is right along the edge. So when I get to the pouch and I get about 1 inch or 2 past the zipper, I just make sure there's fabric of the pouch, of the lining sticking outside the side of my zipper foot. 1/4 inch or less, because you're doing it on each side. And I definitely make the seam on the bottom wider so that you don't have all that bulk sitting in the bottom of the bag, because you have that seam allowance down there. And then everyone's on the first? Wow, that's crazy. Shh, I sew it again. I double stitch. Don't tell no one. I don't show this in the videos either, just the live streams, because I like to double stitch them and you guys will figure out what I'm doing. It's not like I can hide it. But if you're really observant, you can see it in the videos where it's double stitched. Really close to the first one, and that just helps when there's pressure on the seam. You turn it right side out, that's going to roll a little, right, because of all the batting and interfacing and stuff. So the stitching might pull a little bit, but if you have double stitching, it reinforces it and it stops that first seam from splitting open. Your families knew how to celebrate for sure. And I don't do it on the lining because, you know, I don't see the point. All right, then we just get out our fancy dancy Kai scissors that we all love so much. I have no qualms about cutting through the zipper with the Kai scissors. It's plastic, it's nylon or whatever, it does well. I'm going to steam this and then I'll show you the way my lining is sewn. Okay, so here is, I know, jiggle jiggle, there's a seam allowance on the outside of my pouch. My lining is wider. It's the same 3/8 right there, but it's wider as I go down, and that keeps me from having one of those baggy linings that I just don't like. It just looks unkept, right? Like having a baggy t-shirt that's not pressed and it's all wrinkly and stuff. Look, right, oh, it got stuck right through. I trim it even. Whoa, whoa. I keep a cover on my keyboard to keep things like that thread from going in. Cut my corners. If your seam allowance was larger, you can always trim it down. Just if you need your pouch to fit a certain item, make sure you account for seam allowances and stuff like that. And then on the lining, I do trim it down to about 1/4 inch. Again, I don't want a baggy, bulky, messy lining. And I trim a little off the side of the zipper. So then on this side, it's already trimmed the corner. I just hold that piece that I'm cutting off. It just seems to work for me. And a little on the zipper. And then on the bottom, I trim a little off too, but I leave the opening alone and I just trim where the stitching is. And that's it. That's all your secrets to doing a zipper pouch. Turn it right side out. Excuse me. Gotta have my crochet hook. If for some reason I lost all of, okay, the police came into my house and took all of my crochet hooks and I'm not allowed to have any crochet hooks, right? I would just, like this brand color became illegal, I would go out and buy more because I really can't do things like this without it. It's just a perfect rounded edge to make everything come out nice. I do. We all love the Kai Secrets. Giovanna, the Kai scissors. Other scissors are great too. I love the new Missouri Star ones, the aqua ones. They are great. They're nice and sharp, but sometimes they're too sharp. The Kai scissors have a good weight to them. When I cut with them, I cut straight. They don't make me go off and do anything weird. It's that perfect balance between sharpness and weight and all of that. I'm going to get this on the bag if I'm not careful. Put that underneath there. Have you seen those people that sew and they just throw everything on the floor like Eleanor Burns? Ooh. I get enough thread on the floor without that. I do pop these corners out. It never made sense to me before, but to sew this part here, it makes sense to have those corners out. And then I like to take the ball part of the top of the crochet hook. I run it over there. If you've been here for a while, you know my other secret weapon that I use for zipper pouches. Doesn't look like I'm going to need it for this one. I like to get the crisp edges. Okay, let's see if we can barely, come on, focus. There's just a little bit of pink thread right there. And that's what I mean about putting white thread on like a black pouch. You don't want to have it so that it peeks out. So even though you're sewing inside and technically the thread won't be seen, it really can still be seen. So you want to be careful. Now this is the thing people ask about, and it's hard to explain. I have my fingers in the bag. I put my thumb here, and I slowly bring up that zipper. And I slowly bring it up just to a certain point to where it's going to look nice. And that's how I get rid of that dent on that side. That's it. It's nothing fancy, but words can be hard to convey. Make sure everyone is laying flat along the edges, especially when you have like a solid fabric, meaning no patchwork. I'm really afraid to iron the other side now. And then on this side, I just iron the seams in. Sometimes I take it to my mat and I make sure that it's straight, but in a pouch, it's not too critical, like on the side of a coaster. I just want to make sure the front and back line up. And I find by making it flat, it's easier to sew. I'm going to put the pink thread in there. It works great for the lining. It won't be sticking out like a bright black or something. I start a little bit before the hole and I finish a little bit after. Make sure everybody's lined up. Yeah, the secret of the Kai scissors. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've heard Japanese scissors are really good, and Japanese knives and stuff. They're supposed to have a really good sharp edge. And the Kai scissors can be sharpened. But I haven't heard from anyone yet that has had theirs sharpened, and they've had theirs for years. And I don't know, I've definitely had mine in Florida, and we might even be coming up to 5 years. I don't know. At least 3, I would say. And they are still sharp as can be. And I cut through zippers all the time. Now, I don't reach for them and cut through cardboard or something like that. But I have cut through heat and bond and things like that. Things you would naturally do in the sewing room. I'll cut through it. I keep my finger in the hole of the pouch just to help keep everything lined up until I get to the edge of it there. And then, I forgot where my backstitch button was. Yeah, right, you didn't even realize, Laura, that, your scissors have been lasting all that time. You're just like, hey, my scissors are good. If you're going to spend that little extra, you kind of expect things to last a little longer. I get very frustrated when I fall into the hype and I buy something popular and it's a little expensive because it's got somebody's name brand on it, and then it's not as good as I thought. My lining corner to corner. Make sure everyone's flat. Now look, because of those little tricks, that's it. It was no big deal sewing it, right? You don't have a lining that looks like that. That's just unkempt. That's what I'm looking for. So corners to corners. The fusible fleece is a wonder for that. Same thing with cotton batting. and you can just lay it all in there and it stays nice and neat, grippy. And then if I have to, I can double check my corner. And then this corner might need to come up just a smidge. And then roll the edges nicely. Give it a good press. It's just those little tips and tricks that bring your pouch from, this is the first pouch I have ever made, to, hey, that's looking better than the one I got from, is Sephora a place where you get like makeup pouches? I can't remember. I don't know. That name just popped into my head. So look at that. Now, of course, we all know what we need next, right? Where are you? What I'm bringing out is the Michaels Photo Catcher Saver thingy, whatever. It's 3x5. It's extremely expensive, like $45 or something. So wait for it goes on sale. It'll go on sale for $12 or $15 and then buy them. They go on sale all the time. Right. Sometimes you can only afford to buy a Dollar Tree pair of scissors, right? And that's just what you have to do. You have to buy a new one every year. But you can always put it on a wish list for gifts or something like that. Or if you do get a random special gift card, you can use that. Because the quality of a good pair of scissors really makes your life easier. You know those old scissors and you're cutting and you get that sore on your thumb and life is just rough. And then you pick up something that works beautifully and you're like, oh yeah, that's worth the money. I will eat beans and rice this week in order to afford a pair of Kai scissors type thing. You know what I'm saying? I will cut back on the only thing I can cut back on besides not buying fabric or something. I'll cut back on groceries and eat less expensive foods in order to save some money to fit it into the budget to buy the good stuff. And that's my opinion. That's how I feel. Sometimes you can't even do that and you just deal with what you have. Pink zipper means I usually try to match with the, where does one get their scissors sharpened if needed? Oh, good luck with that one, Mary. It used to be Joann's. You can go and see if you have, you can just Google it, right? Kai, I believe Jody told us, Kai, you can send them back to them and they'll sharpen them for you. But I know here in the Valley of Death here in the Phoenix area, there are stores that sell like knives and stuff, and they do sharpening. So it's kind of a regional area thing that you have to look around a little bit. See where they sharpen kitchen knives, and that's usually where you can get them to sharpen your knife. Ooh, or should we use, do we have any white? I know I have the new white ones that, ooh, yeah. My first thought was white. I think I want to go white. Oh, the quilt shop does too. Well, that's neat. Yeah, I'm always sorry, Mary, if I leave things out too much. After a live stream, I am always sorry because the live stream, being the person that talks and does all the work nonstop for 2-3 hours, I'm usually worn out. You know, the introvert in me kind of gets a little tired, and then I have to clean up the mess. I'm like, ugh. But I was smart, and I had a bagel earlier this morning, so if lunch is super late, then I know at least I'll have that kind of energy, right? Because sometimes I don't eat until 3 or 4 on live stream days, and the energy is usually low. So I have jump rings. I had no idea what to buy. I just found these are Craft Dorf, D-O-R-F. It's silver 6mm, and then it says X 0.8mm. So there's different sizes in there. So I figured if I got a multitude of sizes, they would all fit. I knew I didn't need anything huge. So some people ask, you know, how to get jump rings, what size to get and stuff. And really, I'm sorry guys, but I'm just making things up as I go. Some people gatekeep and they won't tell you what they use. I'll tell you what I use, but I just can't tell you why sometimes. If the price is under $5 or $10, I'll take a chance on something. When it gets a little more expensive, I really get a little hesitant and start, because it's not just buying it the first time. If I bought the wrong stuff, I have to buy something again. So that's where I get a little hesitant, and I start deciding, you know, how much more research do I need to do before I make that decision. So there is our zipper pouch. I'm going to set this right here so I can get I want to get a screenshot for the thumbnail. Let me see, how's that work? Bear with me. Bear with me. Ooh, that one's good. Okay, so screenshot, good enough. One of those will work for the screenshot. So there's the front, there's the back. Now this seems to be a little bit much, but this is not just an everyday pouch, this is a Christmas pouch. And then we have the pink zipper with the pink on the inside, so that works really well. The white tassel, like on Santa's hat. Fussy cut our squares. Now I did do them at 2.5 inches, so I didn't have to have too many. The bigger the pouch, the bigger the squares. Now the gnomes lost their face, but they're okay. Everyone else seemed to do pretty well. I love the snowman and the doggy on the slant like that. Yep, so I think it worked out really well. I'll make the second one at some point. So these are in the shop already. Well, Giovanna, I do have my meal replacement drink in the morning. So it's basically, you know, a protein drink, but with all the extra nutrients and vitamins and greens and all of that stuff. But it's basically drinking chocolate milk. Right? How long is that going to hold you? So if I'm not hungry or I get busy, I forget to eat before the live. Now it's 1:20, so if I hadn't eaten all morning, I ate dinner last night at 5 p.m. I had a handful of pretzel sticks before bed, and that would have to carry me over now. And I'm going to pick all this up before I were to make lunch. So sometimes on Saturday live streams, I just have a really big meal, and then I'll have like popcorn for dinner. I made beef cubes, the beef stew cubes, and I cut them small into bite-sized pieces, and I like just a minute rice. It works. I struggle with rice no matter how hard I try, and it doesn't do well in the fridge or freezer. So I used the boxed minute rice that you just cook on the stove. I threw in a can of corn and a can of black beans, and I have a rice bowl, and it's really good. So thank you guys so much. Yep, it'll be about that time. So remember, this will be in the shop. If I don't have both of them, like right now, if you were to pick one in the shop, you would get this. Unless you want the one that's specifically, we decided on this for the outside, and then we decide on ho, ho, ho for the lining. Is that what we planned on the other one? I do have some fun Christmas polka dots and stuff that's a light color. So I don't know what I'll do on the back. Oh, yeah. Well, my grandfather used to work and he'd get home at 4 p.m. So growing up until I was 13, we ate at 4 p.m. And my father worked 2 jobs for a while. So he'd work his daytime one and then he'd go work at a bar because he used to own a bar in Connecticut. So he'd go and be a bartender for a while. So we would eat dinner in between because the family eats dinner together. And then we started going a little bit later, but then Rob would work again, come home. He'd work at like 5 in the morning and come home at 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon. So then everyone would eat dinner then, and then you can have a snack before bed. And it just always worked out that way. And then once the kids started doing all their activities, I tried to have like something in the crock pot so everyone can eat it at a different time. Mary, you should. After a big project, you should go through and clear your table off so that when you start the next one, you have a clear space and a clear mind. Because a cluttered craft space, it will be a cluttered mind. You're not going to be, in my opinion, this is how I work. I can't see what's going on if I have stuff everywhere. Now, when I'm making crumb blocks and scrappy stuff, I do have everything everywhere. And sometimes I'll tidy up halfway through a sewing session of like 4 or 5 hours just because it irks me. And then we'll go from there. Quest, I don't know if Quest has dairy free. I put mine in my Amazon storefront. It does run about $50 a month for me with one in the morning, but it has so many, it has this long list of all the nutrients, probiotics, prebiotics, vitamin this, that, and the next thing, and the greens, all the things that I would try to put in a smoothie anyways. It has it all in there. Now, Amazon, if you watch, it'll go, I buy one this month, right? And then in a month or two, all of a sudden it'll offer me like a coupon or it'll go on sale, sometimes as low as $25 or $35, and that's saving, $20 a month or whatever. And then I'll buy three because three is the limit that they'll let me buy. So then I won't have to buy any for 3 months. I'll set aside that budget so when it goes on sale again, I can buy three more. So I do save a lot of money that way. It took me a while. I sat at the vitamin shop for probably a good hour. I just sat on the floor and I brought all of the vegan or plant-based protein type drinks and set them on the floor around me, and I just sat on my phone and did all kinds of research. And this is like Earth something or another, and that's what I found that had the best list of clean ingredients with the most. It's not just a protein drink, it's an actual meal replacement, and it doesn't have a lot of calories in it either. Oh yeah. Yeah, I have a very sensitive. Oh my goodness, Lee Allen, you are struggling. Sometimes it just gets crazy, right? Okay, is it high in carbs? I don't have to check carbs. I don't know if it has a high sugar content or not. Just go down in the description box and check my Amazon storefront, and it's in there, and you'll be able to turn it around and look at it. Everything's out in the kitchen. All right, so now we're going to go live again. Today's the 6th. We have our regular Saturday. We'll go live on the 20th. I don't know what we'll make. And then I wanted to start doing the foundation paper piecing, but I haven't watched a video. I haven't chosen my fabric, and I haven't cut them down to 1.5 inches because I want to do the courthouse steps first, and we'll do the other pads next year. This weekend, I also need to go through and see what the Fat Quarter Shop has going on and pick something. I haven't, if anyone sees something on the Fat Quarter Shop, when I put it in the community tab, just go ahead and send me the name or the link to it. And if I haven't placed my order yet for the month, I'll go ahead and pick it up if it's within my budget, and we'll test it out. So we're going to do those foundation papers in January. We're going to go live on Wednesday the 10th, Wednesday the 17th. Now, I'm sorry, I apologize. Someone said they sent me a package. That chocolate replacement. Oh, Susan, it's in the Amazon shop. I've switched from chocolate to vanilla, and I've started adding, don't laugh at me, Nestle strawberry quick to it. The vanilla has a little bit of a vanilla cardboard taste to it, and I wanted strawberry milk, so I just add a spoonful of the Nestle quick to it. It works. There's not, when it comes to the number of calories from healthy food that I eat in a day, I'm fine. I can have that extra sugar and calories. Where I struggle is when Oreos have a really good flavor and I eat the whole package in a week. So my fat is old fat, not new fat. Sometimes I'll gain 5 pounds and lose 5 pounds, but what's on my body right now, I've had for a while, and I haven't found my exercise routine that my neck is happy with and doesn't put me into a lot of pain. Quest I've seen at CVS, Walgreens, I think Walmart, and definitely Sam's Club, yeah. Wow, good job, Laura's husband. We're going to stick with 11 o'clock, Jody, because I have to be able to get up, take care of the household chores, dishes, feed the cats, make the bed, take a shower, clean the room, and all of that. So 11 a.m. here, Arizona time, works best for me. There's no way I can come live at my normal 9 a.m. time for the videos. So I will open up all of the Advent items that I have now between this week and next week. And then on the 24th, I'll do a pre-recorded one and I'll open up the whatever comes in the new package. And if for some reason the new package doesn't make it, knock on table wood, I'll just do another video. I'll just say, hey, Merry Christmas, thanks for hanging out with me, I appreciate you type thing. Okay? An afternoon, I've done some in the afternoon. I mean, we could. What did I do this past Wednesday? I did that at 11. With the random ones, Giovanna, I tried a couple of ones in the afternoon. I do want to try to do some at 3. The problem that I'm incurring right now is I do most of my productive work from 1 p.m. to about 7 or 8 p.m. So I'm trying to get all of these Advent videos done. If I can get everything done, then we can have another random one, right? We can do one on a random Tuesday or a Sunday at 3 in the afternoon or 4 in the afternoon. I just am not my best after a certain hour. My brain gets tired from holding, I have to hold my head up with the neck issues and the shoulders. And some days I just get the migraines and, I'm just chronic pain falling apart. I know my prime time of the day. So if we just hang out, I'm good. If you want me to do something, that's kind of iffy, right? Oreo, well, I'm trying to be nice, right? Those apple pie Oreos, oh my goodness, they're coming smaller amounts in the bag. The Oreos are smaller and the number you get are smaller, but the price has gone up. And there's just certain ones when they come out with the fancy limited time ones, they're too good. And I don't eat a lot of cookies. My snack generally is a pretzel. Sometimes I'll dip a pretzel in peanut butter, or I'll make the peanut butter and grape jelly goober thing, and I'll dip my pretzels in that or in mustard. They're just little hard pretzel sticks. There's not much to them. Or there's always tomorrow. If I'm hungry today, it's fine. I'll just eat tomorrow. Sometimes my problem is my daughter yelled at me when we calculated my calories in a day, and sometimes if I hit 1,000, I was lucky, which was why I had to make sure I went back to eating chicken as part of my plant-based. I can't go without that chicken protein because I'm not getting enough protein in other places, and it just makes me tired, and of course, that's another reason for brain fog. So I just have to be careful. Apple pie Oreos, yes, they've had them for a little bit. I think they still have them. Be really careful. They're dangerous. Now, see, I have the milk and soy allergies, so I can't have Little Debbie anything. Those little Christmas trees, I love those, but I can't have those. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go because we've been here more than the 2 hours. Only 2.5. That's not too bad. I'm not pushing it. I'm just reminding everyone these will be in the shop. The shop's going to close sometime. I don't have it set up yet. Sometime on the 15th, I'm going to press the button and close it. I don't have it scheduled because I don't know if I want to do it at 9 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon. So if there's something you want, now remember, I'm very easygoing. You won't receive things in time for Christmas if it's after, I think, the 17th. It gets a little sketchy after that. That's why I'm closing on the 15th. But if you're like, it's December 29th and you want to order something, just send me a message, an email or something. Message me on Etsy. You'll still be able to, even though the shop's on vacation. Let me know what item you want, and I'll go ahead and either charge you through PayPal or open up the Etsy for you to grab it. It's really just so I can do all of my inventory and my paperwork getting prepared for taxes next year. That's one of the reasons. Plus, I don't receive that many orders during, it's too late to order for Christmas season, right? So I learned from other people online to just go ahead and close down around the 15th, and then I can do everything I need because I take out all of my bins and I verify what's in my Etsy what's on my inventory spreadsheets and consolidate everything based on sales and what's left, do all of my numbers, and it takes a few days to do all that. So if I don't see you, I'm going to tell you guys, if I remember, Merry Christmas each time we go live, because I never know who's going to come back again. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Oh my God, I just looked around and saw what the mess is. I'm not dealing with it. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. And I'll see my patrons tomorrow also. Bye, everyone.